Hello, my name is Kian Almadine and I study dichogamy and botany at the University of British Columbia. I'm here to explain sequential hermaphroditism to distinct age groups. I will work with various stages starting at elementary, then high school, then a graduate student, and finishing with an expert on the topic. Welcome to 4 Levels.
Hi, Megan. So, do you know why we're here today?
We're here to talk about fish.
Yeah, we are. And do you know the movie Finding Nemo?
Yes, I love Finding Nemo.
And what do you know about Finding Nemo?
He's a small fish that can move fast, and his dad helps him escape from mean people.
Amazing. And what does Nemo look like? Is he a boy or is he a girl?
Nemo is a boy with orange all over him and white stripes.
But what if I told you that Nemo is actually a girl?
What?
I know, it's crazy. You were right about him being an orange fish with white and black bands around it. But he is a type of fish called a clownfish. And once they grow up, clownfish are able to go from a boy to a girl.
How can they do that? Can I?
No, sadly you can't. When a male clownfish can't find a girl, it's easier to become a girl because the boys come to them. This lets them have kids of their own so they can pass down their genes, just like your mom and dad did to you. That's what sequential hermaphroditism is called. And it's an animal turning from a boy to a girl or a girl to a boy.
Wow, that's so cool. I want to try.
I hope that works out for you. Hi, Alex. So I know that you're a high school student. So what do you know about clownfish?
Clownfish are that fish that look orange and white and black stripes around its body. I also know that it's that fish in Finding Nemo.
Great, but there's one aspect that makes clownfish really special. Do you know what it is?
No, I don't. Nothing comes to mind.
They're able to do something called sequential hermaphroditism. Have you heard of that term before?
Yeah, I've heard it in class, but I don't really know what it means.
Sequential hermaphroditism is the ability of an organism to change gender later in its life. Not many organisms are able to achieve this. When a group of clownfish does not have a female, the largest individual in the group becomes female, while the second largest stays male. This is caused by specific genetic mechanisms that occur in the clownfish that are present at birth and early development. The sex chromosomes and sex-determining genes initiate and direct the process of sex changes.
Oh, wow. They never taught that in school.
Another factor that can cause sex changes is environmental factors such as resource availability and social interactions, meaning that as the need for female fish in an environment is needed, male clownfish will change sex to fit that need. Also, the hormones that are regulated inside the body are part of the sequential hermaphroditism process. The transition from one sex to another are regulated by various hormone signals.
Wait, like how is that even possible? People can't do that.
Well, only certain species are able to do that. This mostly occurs in specific fish, gastropods, and plants. Through a series of genetic changes and hormone releases, clownfish are able to change sex as the need arises.
Wow, I never knew that was possible. I'd love to learn more.
What have you learned from today?
I learned that some species are able to change sex. This is usually due to factors like environmental, hormonal, or due to necessity. Males are able to change to females, and females are able to change to males. The one thing that does interest me the most is that they are specific to certain species. They're genetically built different, allowing them to have superhuman-like abilities.
That's great. Thank you so much for coming out today, and I am so happy that you were able to learn something from this conversation.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Hi, Olivia. How are you doing?
Great, and you?
Amazing. So you are a graduate student who majored in women's studies, correct?
Yes, I am, with a minor in sequential hermaphroditism.
And why did you choose those two for university?
I felt they have a correlation with both about the topic of switching genders. I'm a feminist myself and wanted to immerse myself in women's studies, which include the topic of trans people and LGBTQ. Sequential hermaphroditism is when species are able to change sex, not out of identity, but out of necessity, depending on their environment.
You must have really enjoyed that. I've always wondered about the similarities between the two. In nature, it is mostly a strict line with genders, with there only being male and female. Regarding sequential hermaphroditism, it breaches the barrier, allowing for species to be fluid with their gender.
Exactly. That idea was the reason why I chose this line of study. The process of changing genders is difficult and complex. When humans go through the process of transitioning and changing genders, they go through social adjustment, which is similar to species that go through sequential hermaphroditism. The normal mating and social behaviors that they have changed as they switch genders, giving them a new role in the ecosystem.
The idea of sequential hermaphroditism challenging the view of gender and its concrete construct is extremely interesting, with a physical biology aspect exemplifying that gender can be fluid. This invites the idea of gender diversity and allowing for a more inclusive space. Transgender individuals challenge the binary model by existing outside that specific characterization.
Yes, and to add to what you said, the experience of humans and other species working with gender identity. Animal behavior is interesting and complex, and sequential hermaphroditism just adds to that fact. But I really do hope that this biological fact can foster more acceptance, empathy, and inclusivity for transgender individuals.
Now, what are some differences between transgender individuals and sequential hermaphroditism?
Well, transgender individuals need to go through medical and legal processes to change their desired gender. It is a personal and individual experience that comes with many issues and adversities. Sequential hermaphroditism is a biological phenomenon that occurs in only a few species, usually due to necessity related to mating habits and behaviors. This is heavily influenced by genetics, while transgender individuals have more factors involved, like social, cultural, and personal reasons.
Well, thank you so much, Olivia, for that conversation. That was incredibly insightful, and I really enjoyed learning about the connection about the two topics. Thanks. Hi, Dia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you specialize in the study of sequential hermaphroditism, especially in the gag grouper and California sheephead.
Yes, that is correct.
I was looking at some of the research papers you've published, and I was astonished. The one that I was specifically intrigued in was when you looked into the advantages of fish populations and MPAs that are able to change sex.
Thank you so much for looking at it. I am pleased with my findings in that research paper in particular. I specifically chose to dive into this topic because most studies on population recovery have focused on fixed sex populations. Then we focused on looking at the mating behaviors of certain groups of fish, specifically the California sheephead and gag grouper.
From my knowledge, fishers only will harvest fish once they reach a certain size. This tends to be male fish as they end up growing to be larger than female fish. The ratio of male to female fish shifts, causing an imbalances in the sexes. How does changing sex affect the population ratio with species such as the gag grouper?
Regarding species like the gag grouper, they change sex at a specific size or age. So, as there is a decrease in male gag groupers, the females that have reached a certain size are able to transition from female to male as the necessities for male grows. From this, only females that meet a certain criteria of size and age are able to move over, unlike the California sheephead. They follow different criteria due to their mating behavior, with larger males guarding a group of females. For a female to change sex, the territorial male must die, causing a need for more males, and this limits the amount of females that can change sex.
So, if I understand correctly, for gag groupers, mating can be difficult as the population of males declines, as females need to be a certain size to change sex. Without enough males available, the eggs produced by females are unable to get fertilized, starting the decline in population. This would undoubtedly cause sex-changing species to respond unpredictably with an MPA being implemented.
Yes, exactly. But then there are species like the California sheephead where the loss in male population does not affect their mating habits significantly. As there's only one territorial male, mating with multiple females, the loss of a male is replaced steadily by certain size females. This gives them an advantage over other fixed sex species when it comes to population recovery from overfishing. And when males are essential to maintain their mating habits, it's vital for a sufficient amount of males, resulting in a disadvantage in certain species.
It is incredibly hard to deduce this information as mating functions are a mystery for a large amount of fish populations. We need to better understand mating functions for a variety of species, especially fish that are impacted by fishing activities by humans. On another note, have you heard what has been happening in the Hamilton Harbor?
Yes, I have. It's very interesting. And due to the amount of feminine products being released into the Hamilton Harbor, there's been an influx of female fish being born instead of male.
I believe it is mostly due to the hormones that are released into the aquatic environment, causing the genetics of the fish to be in the presence of female hormones, influencing their gender when they are born. From your knowledge, how does this affect the population of the fish in the surrounding area?
Related to what we were talking about before, they cause the mating habits to change. If the fish species present are fixed sex, then the ratio will continue to differ, resulting in a decline in the population with no male fish eggs to fertilize the eggs. And if there are sex-changing fish present, we might see an increase in male fish, as the females that are at a sufficient size are able to change sex.
Yes, as the environment changes, causing the mating patterns to change, females that are able to change sex are motioned to change sex. Well, thank you so much for coming out. It was a pleasure to chat to you about such interesting work, and I'm looking forward to more papers published by you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, Dia.
As we can see, we were able to explain and talk about the concept of sequential hermaphroditism to all age groups. All topics are possible to understand no matter the complexity. See you next time, and thank you.